Yaa Asantewaa paced back and forth in the dimly lit council room, her eyes blazing with fury. The men, the so-called warriors of the Ashanti, sat before her, their heads bowed in shame. The Queen Mother could no longer hold her tongue. The silence, thick and suffocating, was a betrayal she could not endure. "Are you all cowards?" she roared, her voice echoing off the walls. "Where is the bravery that once filled your hearts? Where is the strength that once ran through your veins? You call yourselves men, but you sit here trembling like leaves in the wind. You have allowed fear to strip you of your honor, and for what? To let these white men trample over us, to steal what is most sacred to our people. If you will not fight, then what kind of men are you?" The chiefs remained silent, unable to meet her gaze. Yaa Asantewaa's voice broke with the weight of her disappointment. "Have you forgotten what the Golden Stool means? Do you not understand that it carries the very soul of the Ashanti? It is more than just a seat. It is our spirit, our pride, our identity. The British demand it, and you would let them have it. You would let them tear the heart out of our people because you are too afraid to stand against them." Her words sliced through the room like a sharp blade. The men squirmed in their seats, but still, none dared to speak. The British had demanded the Golden Stool, believing that by possessing it, they could finally break the Ashanti and rule over them without resistance. But they did not understand its true significance. According to legend, Okomfo Anochi, high priest and one of the two chief founders of the Ashanti kingdom, caused the stool to descend from the sky and land on the lap of the first Ashanti king, Osei Tutu. The stool was not just a symbol of power. It was the living essence of the Ashanti nation. To surrender it was to surrender their very existence. Yaa Asantewaa's heart ached with the memory of the ancestors, warriors who had fought and bled for the Ashanti. She could not bear to see their legacy dishonored by this shameful cowardice. She knew then that if the men would not act, she must. Her voice softened, but it lost none of its intensity. "If you, the men of Ashanti, are too weak to defend us, then we, the women, will rise. I, Yaa Asantewaa, will take up the gun, the sword, whatever it takes to protect our people. I will not allow the British to desecrate our land, to touch the sacred stool. I will fight, and if I must die, I will die with honor, knowing I did not stand by while our heritage was destroyed." The chiefs looked at one another, stunned by her words. Slowly, shame gave way to resolve. How could they let a woman, a mother no less, fight in their place? Yaa Asantewaa's courage sparked something deep within them, a fire that had nearly been extinguished by fear. They agreed to follow her, to stand behind her in battle. But it was Yaa Asantewaa who would lead them, who would command the Ashanti in their most desperate hour. And so, with Yaa Asantewaa at the helm, the Ashanti prepared for war. The days that followed were filled with the sounds of sharpening blades, of whispered prayers to the ancestors, of mothers kissing their children goodbye, not knowing if they would return. Yaa Asantewaa led her people into battle with the strength that seemed to come from the gods themselves. She fought with the ferocity of a lioness, her eyes blazing with the fire of a people determined to protect their soul. The British forces were powerful, their guns spitting fire and death, but the Ashanti warriors, led by their fearless Queen Mother, fought with the passion of a people who knew they had everything to lose. Yaa Asantewaa's leadership was nothing short of legendary. She inspired her people to fight with everything they had, and under her command, they struck fear into the hearts of the British. But war is a cruel master, and despite their courage, the Ashanti were outmatched. The British forces were relentless, their numbers overwhelming. The war raged on for months, and the Ashanti began to falter. The British pressed harder, determined to crush the resistance once and for all. In the midst of this, Yaa Asantewaa made a fateful decision. If the war could not be won, the Golden Stool must be saved at all costs. She gathered a group of trusted warriors and devised a plan to hide the stool where no British soldier would ever find it. Under the cover of night, they moved the stool to a secret location deep within the forest, a place known only to a few, where it would be safe from prying eyes. They buried it beneath layers of earth and covered it with the ancient symbols of protection, ensuring that it would remain hidden until the Ashanti could rise again. Even as the British closed in, Yaa Asantewaa did not waver. She knew that the war might be lost, but the soul of the Ashanti would remain intact. When the British finally captured her, she stood tall, defiant, her heart unbowed. They exiled her to the Seychelles, far from her homeland, but they could not take her spirit. She had succeeded in her mission. The Golden Stool was safe. Though the British eventually claimed victory, they did not have what they truly sought. The Golden Stool remained hidden, its power untouched by foreign hands. Yaa Asantewaa's people had been defeated in battle, but in spirit they had triumphed. The British could never fully conquer the Ashanti, for their soul, their essence, was beyond their reach. Yaa Asantewaa spent the rest of her days in exile, but her name became legend. She had stood when others would not, fought when others could not, and secured the heart of her people. She was a mother, a warrior, a queen. She was the soul of the Ashanti, and long after she was gone, the Golden Stool remained hidden, waiting for the day when the Ashanti would rise again, inspired by the memory of a woman who refused to let her people's spirit be broken. So, the story does not end here. In 1921, as the Ashanti Empire sought to heal from the wounds of its past, a group of road construction workers stumbled upon an astonishing discovery: the hidden Golden Stool. The air around them seemed to hum with the ancient power of the Ashanti, but the workers, unversed in the sacred traditions, saw only a glittering treasure before them. One of the workers, an older man with lines of hardship etched into his face, hesitated. "This is not just gold," he said, his voice trembling. "This is the Golden Stool. It belongs to the Ashanti king. We must return it to him." But another, younger, and blinded by greed, scoffed at the idea. "Are you mad? I can never be poor in this life, not after finding such a treasure. We have been blessed by the gods themselves." The men fell silent, each wrestling with their thoughts. The allure of wealth was undeniable, especially for those who had known only poverty. Finally, they came to an agreement, driven by the temptation of what could be. They would steal part of the stool, strip it of some of its gold ornaments, and share the spoils among themselves. Surely, they reasoned, no one would ever know, but their actions did not go unnoticed for long. The desecration of the Golden Stool sent shockwaves through the Ashanti community, and the men were soon taken into protective custody. Tried according to local custom, they were sentenced to death for their sacrilege. Yet, fate intervened through the British authorities, who were now mere supervisors in the region. Understanding the gravity of the situation, they stepped in, commuting the death sentences to banishment. Realizing the profound cultural significance of the stool, the British gave their word that they would never interfere with it again. In a solemn and grand ceremony, the Golden Stool, now restored, was handed over to the new king. It stood as a testament to the enduring spirit of the Ashanti people, a symbol of their resilience and the unbreakable bond between them and their sacred heritage.
Thanks for watching. Like, comment, share, subscribe, and hit the notification bell to be the first to get new exciting contents.